The situation just got crazier as news broke down on the day of the Miami Heat game where the Memphis Grizzlies need a win. They're in the 8th seed. They've dropped all the way from 2 to 5 to 8. That Ja Morant will not have a penalty for his so-called gun gesture that was being made toward the Golden State bench, which also revealed that Buddy Hield was also involved in that. What is going on with the Memphis Grizzlies, and how is this going to affect their season moving forward against the Miami Heat team that's also looking to compete in the play-in as well? But the Miami Heat, they've been more awful, respectively, than Memphis this season. But what's going on, everybody? Jared Alator with another episode of Grizzlies Digest, bringing you the latest news and updates on everything Grizzlies related. You find yourself here on a regular basis. We're a young channel, but you can still hit that subscribe button so you never miss another upload from us. So getting into the content right now, that was it. There you go. So ESPN's Shams says NBA issued warnings. No further penalties, just warnings to Grizzlies guard Ja Morant and Warriors guard Buddy Hield, along with both teams, which I don't understand as well, considering both teams were not a part of it. It was just two guys from each respective team. For gestures on Tuesday night, sources tell ESPN, league ruled the celebrations were not intended to be violent in nature, which, was not in the first place, but inappropriate and should refrain. So, this obviously goes back to a lot of celebrations of which we've seen in the past. You look at Reggie Miller's celebration against Spike Lee back in the mid-90s. Obviously, apparently that today would be like a $3 million fine, apparently, because that's, the generation we're in, unfortunately. But that's just what it was. So thankfully, nothing was transpiring afterwards. It was just gestures, and that's all it was. No physical violence or no verbal harm in any way. It was really just kind of a petty drama usually, and that's what happens whenever you have the Grizzlies and the Warriors go at it. It's become kind of a bit of a rivalry. I'm sure Warriors fans would kind of laugh at that and say, well, look at the record in the past 3 or 4 years. It's been all Golden State in those 3 to 4 years, but Memphis fans, they take it pretty seriously, and whenever those two teams get together, even when you don't have some of the pieces that each respective team has had before, like Dylan Brooks or Klay Thompson, this is still a very petty, heated game whenever you get these two teams to play each other. But it also reminded me of this, and Maya McCoy goes into a great examples in that last video that's on here, but this is LeBron James. LeBron loaded a gun, and then the NBA Finals logo was put over it as they were transitioning into commercial break. So, we've seen this before. I think that this was one of the more silly, so-called controversies of the season. And I'm so glad it transpired into nothing, because that's all it was. It was petty nonsense. It was stupid. It was silly. It was nothing at all. So, that brings me into Memphis. That brings us into what Memphis is right now, which is an 8th seed. They're 2-8 in their last 10 games, a 4-game losing streak, center of attention for all the wrong reasons, playing in the form of the Miami Heat. Coincidentally, Luke Kennard, with no context at all, they just said the name Luke Kennard. But at least we aren't homeless. And of course, that's going back to Jaren Jackson Jr.'s infamous quote of, well, we've been struggling these past couple months, but it could be worse. At least we're not homeless. And so that brings us to the picture of the meme right here of this X post, which is a bunch of mountains and the flowers and sun and rainbows and unicorns and alphabets and numbers and what have you. And it's just like, well, at least we're not homeless. And so things have gotten a little bit rocky in Memphis, and I think fans have kind of already checked out. Of course, leave your comments down below as to kind of how you feel right now, because that's just how it is right now. It's like Memphis fans, they don't really know how to react to this slow digression of this Memphis team. And that's all it's been. Since really the All-Star break. Like I've said, since the All-Star break is really when this all started. The Memphis Grizzlies started out as one of the hottest teams back in January. They looked like a serious contending team to potentially take down the Thunder, possibly, or, especially even the Rockets. I think the Nuggets would be tough for anybody just because they've got that championship DNA already in them. But nonetheless, they looked to be a serious contender early on in the season, even the middle part of the season. But now they've slowly digressed. They look nothing like it. They're in the play-in. And speaking of the play-in, there's also this. Updated Polymarket stats on which teams will make the NBA playoffs. And right now, according to Polymarket, the Grizzlies have the highest odds of all play-in teams to make the playoffs. They say a win tonight, this is against Miami, could take them from 8th to 5th. So, you don't want to be here. You don't want to be on this list. Right now, Memphis is at 82%. I think the Orlando Magic were at 80%. Of course, there were other teams below this list. Orlando was at 80%, and then other teams below that. But right now, Memphis leading the charge at 82%. This is not something you want to be leading in right now because, as I've said in the beginning of the video, Memphis was a consistent 2, if not 3 seed team, then dropping below the Lakers. It looked like they were going to flip-flop with 4 and 5 with the Lakers. Now they've lost to Golden State, and now they're in this hole to where they might actually have to play in the play-in. I don't think they're not going to be 9 or 10 at all, but if they stay at 8, they're going to have to play on the road in that first game in the play-in tournament. And of course, if they lose that game, their last hope to be an 8th seed to play the Oklahoma City Thunder will have to be the whoever wins the 9 and 10 seed game. That's who Memphis would have to play if they lose a 7 and 8 seed play-in game, if they were to play in it. But they could get right back in it, folks. They get right back into number 6, maybe even number 5. I mean, there are a few games left in the season. They could very well win against teams like Miami and Charlotte and Dallas. Minnesota, Denver, that's going to be tough. But they could still climb their way back in it. And they've been that resilient team all year. And one guy I want to highlight right now is Zach Edey. And a lot of people have been wondering, well, where has this Zach Edey been all season? Well, like I said in the Taylor Jenkins firing video, Zach Edey has not had his full potential. When you play him for a decent amount of minutes, he could be a walking double-double. And these are his stats: 9.2 points a game, 7.7 rebounds, 1.3 blocks a game. We saw him throw it down against Wembanyama earlier in the season. I mean, this guy has raw, natural talent. He's one of the, I'm not going to say the greatest, watch my wording, he's the most dominant college basketball player in world history. Okay? That's just what it is. I'm sorry. I know you disagree. That's just what it is for you Zach Edey haters out there. But that's what it is. He has raw, natural talent that needs to be used. And they used that in the Golden State game and in those other 3 games under a new head coach, Tuamas Isal. So, what do you think of the comments of what is going to happen with the Grizzlies moving forward? Your reaction to Ja's gesture and non-suspension. He's not going to serve any fines for it. What do you think about that? And how do you think it's going to transpire for the Grizzlies down the stretch? Because right now, you need a victory. And, just like you need, the famous commercial, I need cash, I need it now. The Grizzlies need a win now. Jared Alatorre with another episode of Grizzlies Digest. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this video, you can like it, comment, share it, subscribe to Grizzlies Digest so you never miss another upload from me or Maya McCoy. That's going to do it for this video. We'll see you in the next one, and peace.